welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Kyla, and this week things got dark. That's because this week we dove into some dark academia. Now, I know technically that's not like a genre, it's more of an aesthetic, a mood, but still, these books scream dark academia. I am so excited. I have been wanting to read these 3 books for a while now. They've been on the TBR, and this was the week that we finally got to them. So let me share with you what I read this week. The first one is definitely a cult favorite. Pun intended? Maybe. And that is Bunny by Mona Awad. I have been wanting to read this for a while. I know it was very popular a couple years ago, and now it's kind of coming back around, and I had not read it yet, and surprisingly was able to avoid so many spoilers, which I'm so happy about because I really went into this not knowing a whole lot. I tried to read this back in the springtime, and it just didn't feel like the time, so I finally got around to it, and oh my goodness. So this book is about our main character Samantha, who attends a writing program at a school in New England. It's a very prestigious writing program, and there's a group of girls in her class who call themselves Bunny. They are very much like a clique and just the complete opposite of Samantha herself. She's usually in the corner making fun of them, steering clear, but one night she gets an invitation in her inbox to go and hang out with the bunnies for the evening, and she is very curious, so she decides to go do so, and the story takes off from there. So I am extremely intrigued by that, and you'll just have to wait to hear my thoughts on this one. Next, we have A Lesson in Vengeance. This is a dark academia witchy story. This one follows our main character Felicity. She comes back to school after being away for a year after her girlfriend passed away, and a very like tragic accident, but also there's some rumors about what happened around her death. So she comes back to school, tries to pick life up where it left off, but there's still this like mystery to the school of these witches who founded it back in the day and what happened there. And then also we have Felicity trying to fit in with the new girls in her dorm, and she meets a new student named Ellis, and you know, things happen. This one I've been so excited for because it also has that magical witchy vibes to it. Like when you combine dark academia and that together, are you kidding? Sign me up. So we have A Lesson in Vengeance, and then lastly we have For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. From what I've heard, this one is a bit more of like a mystery thriller dark academia. It takes place in a private school. Our main character, Teddy Crutcher, which like that name, ew. He is a prestigious teacher, and he just thinks the world of himself, and he just thinks he's like God's gift to everything. And then some murders at the school start happening, and things happen from there. And I'm gonna keep the synopsis very short and simple on this one. I have heard nothing but amazing things about this, so I'm so excited to finally get this off my TBR and dive into it and just have me a week of all the dark academia. I cannot wait. So let's go ahead and go back in time to about a week ago where I started reading all of these.
Blue dude, blue moon, kinda mysterious, shaded with someone I'm not really into. Do you need to fix it? Talking bullshit. It's hard to see you when your eyes look dull. Who's gonna say save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. Blue too. That blue. Sorta witty and jaded, but let's not talk about you.
Hiya, hello. I am here to give you an update on Bunny so far. I am, let's see, 102 pages into this so far, and I do not know what to even say about this other than I'm loving it. This book is so weird and twisted and weird and twisted and weird and twisted. I don't have any other words to describe it. It's also hilarious, disturbing. What other adjectives can I pull? And I'll be honest, I have avoided spoilers for this. I don't know how. I really don't, because I know this book is everywhere and everyone has talked about it, but somehow I have avoided spoilers for it, which I'm so grateful for, because there was a moment towards that last little like bit there in the 100 pages that I read where my jaw just like dropped open, and I am here for moments like that. So I'm really enjoying this so far. I cannot wait to see where this goes, and like my imagination is just going wild with like the possibilities. I thought I knew kind of, or I had at least like a theory of where I thought it was going to go based on an episode of Charmed, because it sounded very similar to what happens in that episode. But then it took a turn and now I'm not so sure. So I'm gonna like throw all my theories out at this point and just enjoy it and just immerse myself in this weird and disturbing and twisted story. And like, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to read more of this. I'm also listening to the audiobook and it's really good. So I'm listening while I'm reading, and the narrator does an incredible job. So if you haven't listened to the audiobook or you want to listen while you're reading, I really enjoy the narrator. I think she's doing incredible. So that's my update on that. I thought it would be fun if we went over the nominees for the Goodreads Readers Choice Awards, because they just came out yesterday. I haven't looked at any of them, so I thought it would be fun if we could go over them together. So I have my trusty old laptop here. I have Goodreads pulled up, and we are gonna see what the happening is there and cast some votes. This is always really difficult for me because I feel like I don't read a lot in a lot of the categories. So like, I read a lot, but I don't read romance, or I don't read historical fiction, sci-fi, but I feel like there's always some books that are like totally mischaracterized. So I'm always interested to see where this goes. So if I am looking down here, obviously I'm just looking at my computer. So let's see what we have first in fiction. The nominees are, I'm not going to go through all of these because that would take me so long, and you can look at this yourself, obviously. But the ones that I have read, that's what I'll go over. The only one that I've read in this category is Notes on an Execution. I do have Other Birds on my shelf by Sarah Addison Allen. I haven't read it yet though, so I can't say that. It is on my shelf though. So I guess this is where like the Goodreads, I always take this with like a grain of salt because like I've only read one of them, so I never really trust what they say, because it's just, it's a free-for-all really. Okay, so we have Best Mystery and Thriller for the next one, and I have read The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I have read The Paris Apartment, Jackal, Daisy Darker, The It Girl, Things We Do in the Dark, and that's it. So the ones that I haven't read that I have on my shelf are Killers of a Certain Age, The Bullet That Missed, and The Maid by Nita Prose. What was my favorite in this one? I know that a lot of people did not enjoy this so far. This is really hard too, because I feel like Jackal just came out, and it's crazy that it's already on this list. So I really want to know what the standards are for this, because how is that even possible? Okay, so I really enjoyed Daisy Darker. I thought that was good. I really enjoyed The It Girl. I did not enjoy The Book of Cold Cases as much, but I'm gonna go ahead and vote for Jackal. I think that that book was incredible. I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people that didn't, but I did, so I'm voting for Jackal. Best historical fiction. This one's going to be a joke on my part. I don't really read historical fiction. Yeah, I have not read any of these, nor have I heard of a lot of them. I don't find it appropriate to vote for the ones that I literally have not read anything from. I think that's so inappropriate. I know other people will just pick one, but I just can't. So next is fantasy. This one I'm so excited for. So there's so many good nominees on this one. So many ones that I want to read that I haven't yet, like Book Eaters and The Atlas Six and The Very Secret Society for Regular Witches, which just came out. How is that possible? Thistlefoot's on there, Legends and Lattes, Babel, of course. Although, well, I guess there isn't a dark academia category. There really should. Can Goodreads make that a thing? So I have Babel. I have not read it yet. I haven't read Legends and Lattes yet. I have a feeling that is probably going to be one of my all-time favorite fantasies. I literally purchased 2 copies of it. I haven't read it yet. I have the paperback version and I have the UK hardcover coming, but I haven't read it yet. So the next one is romance. I don't think I would have read any of these because I don't really read romance, but let's just see. Yeah, no, okay, skipping that one. There's a lot of very popular ones in that category though, so that's fine. Science fiction is the next one. Let's see. I have not read any of those. Surprise, surprise. The ones that I have heard of is Mickey 7. I've heard of Upgrade, Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes, and The Daughter of Dr. Moreau. I've heard of those, but I have not read any of them, so we're gonna move on to the horror category. All right, we have White Horse. I have that on my shelf, have not read it yet. What Moves the Dead, it's on my TBR, have not read it yet. Hidden Pictures, oh my god, there's just so many books in so little time, like how? I have not read yet, although I really want to, it's on my TBR. Children on the Hill by Jennifer McMahon, I have read, go me, at least there's one. House of Hunger is on my TBR. We Spread is on my TBR, I've heard that's a really popular one. The Hacienda is on my TBR, and Just Like Mother is on my TBR, which is coming for a reading vlog in the new year. I have a very specific idea for that one. I'm very excited about. So the only one that I've read out of this one is Children on the Hill. Best humor, interesting. I don't think I would have read any of these. I really have gotten out of the, I'm so sorry, this lighting. I really have gotten out of the habit of reading like memoirs and stuff, so I feel like a lot of these aren't that. Best in nonfiction, if, how, oh, memoir and art, I was about to say something, but I will wait to hold that reaction until the next one, because the next one is memoir and autobiography. This one's just best nonfiction, and I have not read any of these or heard of a lot of them, to be quite honest. So we're gonna scooch over to the memoir and autobiography. And I mean, okay, I was about to say, if I'm Glad My Mom Died is not on here, I'm about to throw knives. But it's on there. So I'm gonna vote for that one because it was incredible. There are a few others on here that I want to read that I haven't, which is We Were Dreamers by Simi Liu, Matthew Perry's Friends, Lovers, and Big Terrible Things, of course. the Selma Blair one, the Viola Davis one, the Alan Rickman one, basically all the celebrity ones, because I just love that. But I'm glad my mom died, obviously. Graphic novels and comics, I have not explored that realm yet, so we're gonna skip that one. Poetry, not something I'm really into, so skipping that one. Debut novel, interesting. Okay, so I have read Jackal on here and Thistlefoot, and I didn't DNF Thistlefoot because it was bad. I just DNF'd it because I was not in the mood at the current moment. I might finish it at some point, but for right now. So Daughter of the Moon Goddess is on my TBR. I have not read it, but it's on my TBR. The Hacienda, The Maid by Nita Prose. All right, best young adult fiction. Let's see. The Final Gambit is on here. It's on my shelf. I have not read it yet. And Weight of Blood. I so want to read that one. It's on my TBR. Have not read it yet. And that is it. I've heard of Anatomy, and I've kissed Shara Wheeler, but I have not read them. Best young adult fantasy and science fiction. So Bloodmarked is on here, which just came out. How is this possible? Like, what is their process? I do not understand. I do not understand. That literally just came out the other day. Like, how? How? Sometimes I swear this thing, I know this is rigged. There's no way that would be on here. It literally just came out. And like the other books aren't on here. And also there's some like genre things that are like, some things shouldn't be considered anyways. Bloodmark, I've heard of it. I have not read it yet. Kingdom of the Feared, heard of it. Not read it yet. Only a Monster, heard of it. Haven't read it. Foul Lady Fortune, heard of it. Belladonna, heard of it. Gallant V.E. Schwab, on my TBR. A lot of these are on my TBR, I just haven't read them. Hotel Magnifique. I can't vote for any of these because I haven't read any of them. Middle grade and children's, I will not have read anything in this one. Okay, that is it. Interesting. So, what this means is, my conclusions from this is that Goodreads continues to be rigged in their voting and what they put on the list versus what they don't. There's a lot of genre lines that are being crossed here. Some books are in categories that shouldn't be. I think there should be more categories or subcategories, and I think that would be a little bit better. I think it's still fun to vote in this though. I think it's still fun to go through them and see what is nominated, and I clearly have a lot of books that are on my TBR that I have not read yet, so I need to like rectify that immediately and really make like a end of the year TBR as fast as possible. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little segment. I'm sorry the lighting keeps changing. It's a cloudy yet sunny day, so anywho, yeah, so there's update on that. We've done this. I will catch you when I have another update on my reading. Hello, happy Friday. I am about to head out on a bunch of errands. I have a ton of recycling in the back, so I'm going to do that. I have to do a return at Target and pick up a few things. Maybe peruse the books there as well, because let's be real, I can't not go to Target without looking at the books. I also am like in the market for a coffee maker, so I want to look at my options before Black Friday, see what I'm feeling, and then I'm going to the library to return a book, surprise, surprise, and then I'm going to film a read with me at the library. So you'll probably already have seen that, and if you haven't, I will link it in the cards for you, but that's the plan. It's been a stressful week. The whole Taylor Swift ticket thing has really got me, like, in a funk. I got waitlisted for the pre-sale codes, and then they just canceled the general public sale, which I'm sure means she has something up her sleeve, or is at least trying to rectify it in some sort of way, but it's still so sad. So while I'm out, I'm gonna get a little pick-me-up. I'm feeling a peppermint mocha today. It is like 40 degrees and freezing. So we're gonna do that, and I'm thinking I'm in the mood for a bagel. I've been craving a bagel and cream cheese for so long, and I eat mostly gluten-free. I'm not for celiac or whatever. I just feel better when I eat gluten-free, so I try to do that. But sometimes, you know, I just like crave real bread, and I feel like I should treat myself to a bagel today because, well, it's been a week, and after the cancel of the general public sale, I'm like, let's just get a pick-me-up. So that's what I'm thinking. Bagel first, because it's right down the street, and then I could get a coffee there, but like I'm really craving a peppermint mocha from Starbucks, so then that'll be like, maybe I'll get that at Target, because there's Starbucks in the Target. I don't know, we'll figure it out, but first, bagel, then I need to go do the recycling. That's the like farthest away, and we don't have recycling pickup at our apartment, so let's go run some errands.
Your coyote song on a rerun. Are you hound dog tired singing all night long?
I have secured my bagel. I got a spinacoli bagel, which is like a spinach and broccoli bagel. It sounds disgusting, but it's so good. And then with cream cheese, obviously. They always, like, way, God, how can I even show you this? Like, way overloaded with cream cheese. So, like, look at that. Look at it. So I usually end up just scraping some off, but I'm gonna sit here and eat this before I go to Target. I just did my recycling, so before I run to Target, I'm gonna sit here and eat this. Otherwise, it's gonna be cold, and that's gonna be very sad. So I'm so happy. It smells so good. I wish you could smell this, but like, if you've ever had a fresh bagel, you know. You know. So I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy myself right now, eat my bagel, then go to Target, and then to the library. I forgot to say too, I'm on kind of a time crunch because we're going to see Black Panther 2 this afternoon, which I know I'm gonna like bawl my eyes out at, and it's gonna be emotional. I'm just very excited to see it though, because I've been waiting for a long time, as has everyone else. So we're going to see that at 2 o'clock. It's 11 now, so I have a bit of a time crunch, so that's why I'm kind of rushing around. But anyhow, let's enjoy a nice, delicious bagel.
Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue.
It is the next day, which is Saturday. Had kind of a chill-ish morning. It was actually our Thanksgiving Day parade here in town, which we can see from our window. So we just watched that while also simultaneously trying to keep the dog calm because she does not like loud noises, and there was gunshots going off and that kind of thing. So little tandem moment there, but it was cute and fun. And then cleaned up a little bit, had some lunch, and now I'm on reading sprints with Gabby on her Patreon and finishing up Bunny. I have about 100 pages left, so I should have no problem finishing it today. And I don't even know where to begin with my thoughts for this one. Like, it is just still the same. So weird, so twisted. It did go in the direction that I was thinking of, that I kind of mentioned before, that was like an episode of Charmed. Not exactly, but still like the same idea, the same premise. But now I'm not really sure where this is going and like where it's going to end up. I'm at a point now where I feel like it's kind of like the calm before the storm. At least that's how it feels. I feel like our main character, Samantha, is like obviously realizing some things that have been going on and kind of sort of maybe coming out of it, maybe not. We'll have to like watch this back and see if I eat my words with that. But I feel like it's almost like the calm before the storm. Like I have, like I said, 100 pages left and I know things are going to happen, I'm sure. But, like, they're on Christmas break right now, so it's almost like we're getting a break in the book as well while they're on break. It's very interesting. So I'm still really enjoying it. I still think it's weird and twisted, but, like, I'm here for it, and I'm enjoying it so far. So I'm going to finish this up. Oh, and we did see Black Panther 2 yesterday, which was so good and so emotional. That intro was perfection, had me sobbing. Even like the Marvel intro, oh my god, I can't. It was so good, so well done. And then that movie took a turn that I was not expecting either, and all I will say is that Letitia Wright and Andrea Bassett deserve like Grammys, Emmys, all of the thing, because they were both so incredible in that movie. The impact that they conveyed and just the raw emotion, which I'm sure they were feeling in the moment from filming as well, but just, oh my god, it came across so incredible and just so intense and powerful, and they both deserve like every award possible in my opinion. So if you are a Marvel fan, highly recommend going check it out. It was so good. But yeah, that's really my update. I'm going to continue on sprints. I'm going to make myself a coffee, continue on sprints, hopefully finish Bunny up while doing sprints, and then my plan is to move on to a lesson in Vengeance. I don't know if I'll move on to that today, if I still have time to read or not, and if not, then I'll be starting that tomorrow. So that's my reading update. Let's see where this wild ride takes us, shall we?
I ran into you. Do you need a picture? Well, like it's old. It's hard to take one when your iPhone's full. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue?
Close your eyes, get some rest. I'm by your side. Lay your head on my chest. I know you've had a really bad day. Right here, it's gonna be okay. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could It's over now, so don't despair. The world could fall down.
Hello, it is now Monday. I didn't film anything yesterday other than those few little clips of me starting a lesson in vengeance, which I will talk with you about in a second, but I just had like a true cozy day and really just didn't feel like being on camera. And also I needed time to process my thoughts because I did finish Bunny and I just needed time because this book is truly a roller coaster. It's a wild ride. It leaves you with so many questions and so many theories spinning around in your head. And I just needed, like, I just didn't even know what my thoughts were. As soon as I finished it, I closed it and I was like, I got nothing. Like, I literally have nothing to say. I just need to think on it and process and see how I feel in a couple of days' time. So here we are, it is Monday, and I'm ready to talk to you about Bunny. So, like I said, finished this on Saturday. I loved it. Let me first start by saying that I love books that leave questions in a genius way. So not ones that leave like open-ended endings and you're frustrated because you know, like, one, it's not part of a series and it just leaves like that unsatisfied feeling. This left so many questions while also leaving a satisfying ending. Kind of, sort of. I don't want satisfying is a weird choice of words, but regardless. And I truly enjoyed it. I loved my time reading this because I do enjoy dark and twisted and weird things. It very much reminded me of something that like Tim Burton could produce in movie or show form, and it would be perfection to add his weirdness on top of this. Like, there would be no words. There would be no words. That would be like the dream combo for this book because that's just like the vibes that I get from this. And I won't lie, I was a little bit back and forth with my rating though. So at first I finished it and I was like, okay, I think that was like 4 stars. And then I kept thinking about it and I'm like, well, if I'm thinking about it this much, it definitely has to be a 4.5 at least. And then I did whatever I do when there's a book that leaves me with this many questions, is I went to Goodreads to read other people's reviews. I watched a few videos on some other people who have read this book and like talked about spoilery theories and that kind of thing. And then I also read a few Reddit threads on like what other people's theories were and what other people thought about what was going on. And after doing that, there's no doubt in my mind that this is a 5-star book. It is utter genius. Like, straight up genius. There's just so many different aspects of this book that are so interesting. You have the dark academia, you have this mean girls friend group that is like the most ridiculous, over the top mean girls friend group. I mean, obviously they call themselves bunnies and like the descriptions of each of them is just unreal, and I can like picture them perfectly. And I was listening to the audiobook, so they each had like their own voice and it was incredible. And then you have this other side of this friend group, which I'm not going to spoil anything. It is really hard to talk about this book without spoiling anything, so I'm really trying my best. But there's another angle of this friend group that comes into play that is also so interesting. And then Samantha joins them one night in their smut salon, which, you know, just incredible. And I think it's so funny that they name it that. And then that kind of takes a turn, and there's just so many different aspects. And then there's this ever-looming like twist that comes, and you're not quite sure if it's real or not. And after reading a bunch of the threads and the reviews and doing like a deep dive on it, I had a kind of correct theory when I said kind of what was happening kind of mirrored that episode of Charmed. And so I was right in that sense, but then there was this other aspect that at the end I was like, wait a second. What? And so I had to do a deep dive on that, and once it like clicked into place, I was like, utter genius. Like straight up genius. I have nothing else to say about this book because I can't talk about it without spoiling it. It's like impossible. So if you're thinking about reading this, this is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Like, know that now. It is definitely not. I understand why there are people who do not like this book, and I also understand why people say this is like an all-time favorite. I won't say it's an all-time favorite, at least what I'm feeling right now, but this book is going to stay with me and stay on my mind for so long. So maybe that means it's a favorite. I don't even know. My thoughts are so jumbled still. But if you are thinking about reading it, I do highly suggest it. Just know that you really do have to like keep an open mind and kind of theorize yourself, but then you may need to do a deep dive afterwards to understand what is happening and like be happy about that. Don't be frustrated about it. Know that going into it and you will have a good time. So 5 stars, freaking loved it. I can definitely see this being a reread at some point and like catching different things that are happening, because I feel like there's just so much happening in this book. It's impossible to catch it all. And then also now have read, you know, all these Reddit threads and that kind of thing, like going back, I feel like I would annotate this like a million times more. So love, 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 love. So finished that, very happy about it. Love starting off with a 5-star book. Hello. And then I started yesterday A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. This is a story about a girl who goes back to her school for her senior year after taking a year off because her girlfriend passed away. And there's also like some witchy vibes happening in this book. There's 5 witches who were like the founders of this school, something along those lines, that all die. And then, so there's kind of like that element to it, while also being extremely dark academia. And there's also just another girlfriend group that just seems a little over the top and ridiculous. So it really has all the vibes in it so far. I am up to page 93, which is chapter 9, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It really has all of the dark academia vibes that I want, like even down to the clothes. They're talking about their tweed blazers with the elbow patches and like their skirts that they're wearing and that kind of like, I'm like, oh yeah, and all their blazers and their blouses, like it's exactly what I picture. If you like go to dark academia Pinterest, like that's what is described in this book, so I love that. I also love the dynamic of the girls that live in this house, and it's not necessarily a friend group, but it's just the people who live there, and there's definitely a weird dynamic there. And then we have our main character, Felicity, which I love that name, and she, like I said, had come back to this school. So you're also kind of unraveling what happened with her girlfriend Alex, who passed away at the school, and like what happened there, while also being some witchy elements. Like it's, like I said, it's jam-packed with everything that you want, and I'm really enjoying it so far. We're just getting into the nitty-gritty of what's happening with like the witches and stuff like that, so I'm very curious to see where this goes. But like I said, it is Monday, so I do have to work today. I have a bunch of meetings, a bunch of creating to do. I have a live on Instagram to do, so I'm gonna be a busy little bee today. So I probably won't check in with you until after I'm done with work, which it is Thanksgiving week too, so I might be finishing up a little bit later today because I'll have Thanksgiving off. So I don't know, we'll see, but I will, I'll see you when I see ya. Hi, hello, it is now Tuesday. I just dropped ZD off at daycare, which is just her running with a pack of dogs basically all day long. It's the greatest thing ever. And now I'm at Trader Joe's to do some last minute grocery shopping before Thanksgiving, and between last night and this morning, I have gotten to about like 60% of the way through A Lesson in Vengeance, and wow, you guys. So there's this character, Ellis. She's new to the school this year. She is in the house that Felicity and the other girls live in, and I don't trust her as far as I could throw her. Like, she just has this air of her that is just, I just don't trust her. I don't trust her whatsoever, and I feel like she's kind of taking advantage of Felicity's trauma, which is so disturbing. Felicity is our main character. She's the one whose girlfriend passed away. She's come back after a stint in a hospital to try to finish out her senior year, and I feel like Ellis is completely taking advantage of this girl's trauma and mental state, and it is beyond disturbing, and like, I don't like it. Every single time something happens with them, I'm like, oh, no, absolutely not. Like, disgusting. And I just, like, it breaks my heart. So, I don't really know where this is going. I have a couple of different theories, but, like, I know some shit's gonna go down with this girl, Ellis, and, like, I just really hope Felicity comes out on the other side, like, okay. I'm so rooting for her, but it just hurts my heart. She's being taken advantage of. She is being exploited for, like, how broken she is, and I just hate it so much. So that's the update on that. I will, obviously update you more as I read more. But for now, I need to go into Trader Joe's, and then I might stop by Target. I need a few Christmas bits because I cleaned out our Christmas decor like a lot last year. It's just like wasn't my style anymore, so I want to see if there's like Christmas decor, and also I need we need new stocking holders. So I might stop by Target, or later on today after work, I might stop by like Home Goods or something. So we'll have to see, but that's my update. Just wanted to like give you it while it was fresh on my mind. Now let's go grocery shopping. Hello, it is Wednesday now. I stopped by Target yesterday, like I said I was going to. And I don't know if this is like this for everyone else, but Target's Christmas section was already like straight up empty. I'm sorry, we're not even at Thanksgiving yet, and the Christmas section is empty. I'm confused. I know there are a lot of people who like to decorate like as soon as it hits November, but like we're not even at Thanksgiving. How are you empty for Christmas? I do not understand. Anyways, I am almost done with A Lesson in Vengeance. I have about 50 pages left, which I will be finishing today on my lunch break. And honestly, I will be completely honest, I have no idea what direction this book is going to go. I feel like I have a clear, like, 2 paths that it could go. I have 2 theories, and one of them I believe will be the correct one, but I really have no clue. I have no clue. And I love that. I still find it completely disturbing that this main character is being taken advantage of. She's almost being like preyed upon, in my opinion, unless something happens in the last 50 pages to like convince me otherwise. But I feel like with everything else that has happened, this poor girl in her mental state is being preyed upon, and it just makes me so sad and so angry. Regardless of that, though, it's still making for a good story, obviously, and because she's a little bit unreliable herself, or not just a little bit, she is very unreliable herself, that makes it even more interesting of a story, because you're really not sure where it's going to go, or it opens up the possibilities of the ending going really anywhere. So I do like that aspect of it, but just like, it's breaking my heart to read this, and I really didn't think that I was going to feel that way. I thought this was going to be like a fun, lighthearted, dark academia witch story, and it's not turning out to be that. It's turning out to be a little bit more serious than I was expecting, which I like, and also I'm just like completely caught off guard by. So like I said, I'm going to finish this today, probably on my lunch break, so I will let you know my final thoughts when I finish.
But it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. If all the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay. Fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. If all the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna.
I literally just finished a lesson in vengeance, and these last 50 pages were wild. It went in every direction that I predicted, which, like, how? Usually there's one sort of twist, and then the story, like, carries out and finishes and sometimes wraps up in a nice little bow. This one went in, like, 3 different directions and then wrapped up. I wouldn't say a nice little bow, but wrapped up. And, like, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know what I'm going to rate this. Like, I'm literally at a loss, and that seems to be the theme of this vlog so far, because Bunny I found very hard to rate at first as well. So I think I'm gonna have to sit on this and let you know what I rate it at the end, or at least like in a little bit. Definitely going to settle somewhere in between a 3 and a 4. It's definitely not a 5-star. I just don't know what that rating is going to be right now. So I'm gonna think on it a little bit more. I have to get back to work. Even though I only have tomorrow off, I feel like I have to wrap up all of these projects, and it's just a little crazy town USA. So I'm feeling a little frazzled. So I'm going to get done what I need to get done, like top priorities, then give myself a little bit of a brain break, and then tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Just crazy. Absolutely crazy. I feel like this year is flying by. Hi, hello. It is now Monday. I did take the weekend off of filming. It was just Thanksgiving. We went to my sister-in-law's house and then we had an amazing meal there. Came home, chilled, watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and then just had a super chill weekend. We decorated for Christmas, which you will see in another vlog. And then it was honestly just a whole lot of like hanging out. However, during the weekend, I did read For Your Own Good in its entirety. This was a super fast read. Love when that happens. The chapters are maybe like 3 pages max, 3 or 4 pages max. So you just feel like you are flying through it. And I love it. And also, the plot of this, like, you just cannot look away. You need to know what happens. And I love books like this because it is revealed at the beginning, our main character, Teddy Crutcher, he is a teacher at a high school. And, you know, he is up to no good. Also, he thinks he is, like, God's gift to everything. He's a dick. He is just... He's arrogant. He is the worst of the worst. So you already know that you're gonna get something there. And then he starts, you know, down his little path. Things start happening. There's some murders happening. So you kind of already know the, like, whodunit up front. You don't know the how or anything like that, but you know the whodunit. So then it's kind of like the dominoes unfolding as this book goes along to figure out all of these different little facets that keep coming into play, because we have other little things that kind of unravel his plan, which just makes it more fun because he's getting frustrated. And then he has to kind of like fix everything. It's just so fun. I love that. I love when it's like, you know up front what's going on, the dominoes start falling, but then the plan like hits the fan, shit goes awry, and like the main character has to like scramble. But also, you're not rooting for the main character, you're rooting for him to fail in like every way possible. And it's just so good. And then you have all of these other characters coming into play and I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I'm gonna give this 5 stars. I enjoyed it so much. I had such a fun time, and all of my tabs are like the moments that I viscerally got like creeped out by this main character. And I just love that. Like, he is just so creepy, the worst of the worst, and like there was just so many cringy, gross moments, or moments where he said something and you were just like, that did not come out of your mouth. It did. Can't believe that just came out of your mouth. So all of these tabs are for moments like that, and like I just had the best time. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give it 5 stars. I feel like I'm being a softie with my ratings recently, but like I'm just having so much fun with what I'm reading, and maybe I'm just picking really good books. I don't know, but like I'm here for it. So 5 stars, For Your Own Good, would highly recommend. It definitely has, I feel like, the least amount of dark academia from these 3 books that I've read. But it still was there, you know, he teaches at a high school, and I won't say the writing was like the best of the best. It was kind of basic writing style, but it just made for a really fast read, so like I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna like nitpick it because of that, but I will say it was like the most, or the least dark academia. Like, it takes place at a high school, there's dark things happening, of course, there's murder happening, there's definitely private school vibes, but like, when I picture dark academia, it's not exactly this. I feel like this was a little bit more just like teen drama than dark academia, but it didn't make me enjoy it any less. So that is the end of my reading for this vlog, so let's just go ahead and close it out. And that is it for this vlog. Before I go, let's just quickly do a little bit of a recap, because this video was a wild ride. So we have Bunny, which was dark and twisted and weird, and I gave it 5 stars. I just freaking love it. The more I think about it, the more I fall in love with this book. I don't think it is for everyone. I definitely think if you are open to the idea of, one, it being dark and weird and twisted, but also having kind of an ending that's like ambiguous that you really have to just like think about and maybe do a deep dive on, then I think you will enjoy that. If you don't enjoy that kind of ending and you know, kind of find yourself feeling like, you know, if you feel a little bit lost during a book and you don't like that feeling, this book is probably not for you. But I gave it 5 stars because I just freaking loved it, and I just, again, the more I think about it, the more I fall in love with it. And then we have A Lesson in Vengeance, which totally caught me off guard, and I think I'm landing on a 4 for this one. I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed Felicity herself. I just was not expecting it to be as dark as it was, and how I know dark academia, like hello, but I mean dark in the way that like this poor girl was exploited and taken advantage of and kind of preyed upon in her mental state, and she is an unreliable main character, so there is that, but I just was not expecting it to go in the way that it did, which caught me off guard. Again, not necessarily in a bad way though, and it's definitely still stayed on my mind, which is why I'm giving it a 4. I was sitting between a 3 and a 4, but the more I like think about this, it's just staying and I can't stop thinking about it, so it's definitely going to be a 4 for me. I definitely would highly recommend it. I think it's a great story. I love the witchy vibes. This was probably the most like picturesque dark academia of the 3, down to like the school and the clothes and the way the students act, and just all of the descriptions in this were very dark academia and exactly what I picture like if I like type in dark academia Pinterest board, like this is what comes up. But I just wasn't expecting it to be as disturbing, depressing, dark as it was. But I'm still landing on a 4, and I definitely would highly recommend it. And then we have lastly, For Your Own Good, and I really enjoyed my time with this one. I definitely was creeped out, grossed out, jaw open at some of the things that came out of this main character's mouth. I just like, ew, gross. You are a disgusting human, but like it made for the story, and I think without this it would have been a little bit boring, but with those moments it made it so fun and just mysterious and disgusting and very dark. So I loved it. I definitely would recommend it. It was such a fast read, probably the fastest of the 3, and I do have to say I listened to the audiobooks for all 3 of them while I was reading, and all 3 audiobooks would highly recommend. I do suggest for Bunny to read physically also, or if you're gonna choose one or the other, to read it physically. I just feel like that needs its moment to really understand and grasp everything. But the other 2 could totally be standalone audiobooks. I just happen to really like listening while I'm reading. And they were all really good narrators, and really told the story quite well. So that is it for this vlog. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. If you are still here, leave the stack of books emoji in the comments and let me know your thoughts. If you have any recommendations for other dark academias you would like me to check out, my list is quite a mile long. So if you have any others though that you want to add to the TBR, don't be afraid to leave those in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Do not forget to subscribe while you are here. Turn on the bell so you never miss a video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!
With you and I, the future is bright.